Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Military Mayday. Some say that we started World War III a long time ago. Some say World War III started Saturday. Others say that we're already in World War IV. The rumors have been floating around of staged event, false flag, all that good stuff, and it could very well be true. I could see a certain person in Israel wanting to make himself a dictator and standing down and allowing an attack that's been building up on your borders for a month or so is a pretty good sign that that's what might happen. You might see a very powerful person come out of this in Israel. Either way, if it was staged or not, I'm sorry to tell you, but Hamas, the Gaza Strip, Palestine is probably going to be leveled to a parking lot, and way worse. The shit that they're going to do to these people is going to be crazy, and nobody's going to say a thing about it. This is a very long article. It's longer than I want to read, longer than I have time to read. It's from WA Today, Washington Today. I don't really know. Israel declares war on Hamas as 100,000 troops gather near Gaza. I mean, when you have that many troops ready to go just a day later, Israel has formally declared war on Hamas, amassing 100,000 troops plus tanks and armored personnel carriers near the border with Gaza as it seeks to obliterate the group's military and governing facilities in retaliation for a series of shock attacks and hostage taking. Yeah, if you see any of the hostage taking, it's kind of disturbing. As the Israeli death toll grew to at least 700 and Palestinian death toll exceeds 400 on latest estimates, the Israeli Defense Forces said the military had targeted 500 sites in the Gaza Strip to the use of jets, helicopters, and other aircraft, and I've seen some evidence of it. I've got some articles here. Israeli military response has been complicated by the fact Hamas militants claim to have taken 130 Israelis hostage over recent days. Israel's ambassador to Australia, Amir Maimon, said the hostage taken into Gaza included babies, toddlers, young people, parents, and grandparents. And don't forget young ladies. By tomorrow, I know these intolerable numbers will be risen once again. Many funerals of victims and heroes are being conducted amid this ongoing tragedy. Battles continue in 7 to 8 locations. More than 2 days after Hamas launched its unprecedented incursion of Gaza, the Israeli military said it is still battling Hamas militants in 7 to 8 places in southern Israel. I personally haven't seen any photos or pictures of the fighting. That doesn't mean it's not happening. Let's see here. Opposition Foreign Affairs spokesman Simon Birmingham said the coalition had regularly raised concerns about the government's decision last year to double funding for the UN Relief and Works Agency in the Palestinian territories from $10 million to $20 million. Until the proper use of Australian taxpayer funding can be guaranteed, the coalition believes funding should cease to be directly into the purely humanitarian assistance. Yeah, that is wild. You got Australia shipping over there. Israeli Navy captures Hamas naval commander. Apparently they went in on a raid on Sunday. Israeli 13 naval community detained Hamas deputy commander of the Southern Division. So probably trying to get information out of him. Uh-oh. Come on, load up, internet. Come on. Israel says it's at war after a surprise Hamas attack. Blowed out areas. Rubble of the Yassin Mosque destroyed in an Israeli airstrike and seen in the Shadi refugee camp of Ghazi City near early October 9, 2023. Fighting continues in several locations this morning. At least 700 people have reportedly been killed in Israel, a staggering toll on a scale of a country that has not experienced in decades. More than 400 have been killed in Gaza. And there she is. Everything you love. A super aircraft carrier with its accompanying carrying group. Now you can see stuff back here. This is everything's still coming. The U.S. is sending its most advanced aircraft carrier and its heavily armed strike group to Israel's coast and will supply the country with more weapons and more ammo. And that pretty much self-explains, other than the fact that all these jets are going to be used. But yeah, it looks like, again, Palestine has just signed its death warrant. I mean, that's when they went in, it's over. Israeli Defense Forces claim it attacked 500 Hamas targets overnight. There's a little something down here we need to read. Where is it here? According to Hamas, they were not using the targeted structures, claiming that unannounced attacks were made by Israeli force on residential homes. Israeli Defense Force officer Yigal Levin posted on Telegram photos and videos of the allegedly hit objects. So, isn't that interesting? The idea asserted that it struck 2 Hamas operational targets inside Gaza that claimed to have hit numerous apartment buildings, including the residences of Hamas, 7 additional Hamas commander centers, an Islamic center, and more. Hamas, they were not using the targeted structures, claiming that unannounced attacks were made by Israeli force on residential homes. Israeli defense minister orders siege on Gaza, no electricity, no food. Yeah, I mean, to have done that, it was just one of the stupidest moves you could have done. It's, just looks like it's a setup to get something kicked in gear and going, like a war. And this war will be on the Europe continent. It'll be the Chinese, Asian continent, African, Middle Eastern, all those areas. We're going to be pretty safe over here. But we've got our own issues over here, just crime, things like that. U.S. Navy moving warships closer to Israel. U.S. Navy attacks Iran Navy with unmanned systems in Persian Gulf. This is an interesting little story. Let me read her out here. The strategic move involved the integration of 12 distinct unmanned systems with a manned ship and a series of manned-unmanned teaming operations. These operations were particularly focused on monitoring activities of the Iranian Navy and the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Navy during their routine patrols in the vicinity of the Strait of Hormuz. This initiative comes in the wake of the recent incidents where Iran has unlawfully detained merchant ships sailing under international flags in this crucial maritime region. Yeah, and they're wanting in Iran too. Now, Iran hasn't ever attacked anybody now for like 280 years or something, but they had defended themselves, and they do have very good pilots, I've heard. The operation utilizes a range of unmanned technologies, including underwater vehicles, surface vehicles, and aerial vehicles. A figure in the U.S. Navy Command U.S. highlighted the significance of the integrated new USVs and emphasized Navy's vision for incorporating such platforms in future fleet operations. And they will. That's what all this was probably about, is to test this system. Anyway, I got a boogie on off here. My time's getting probably over. But if you enjoy this information, why don't you hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. I'll have more coming. Anyway, toodaloo.